All right, ladies and gentlemen, here Mr. Evans is back with you again for a week of math challenge. Hopefully you got your stuff submitted on time and you're ready to look with me to see where's your solutions correct. All right, using Mr. Evans' 6-step framework, the first thing that I do is I read the entire problem. So here we are. Louise read 345 pages during the 3-day weekend. If she read 120 pages on Friday and 115 pages on Saturday, how many pages did Louise read on Sunday? Well, my second step is to turn this question into a statement for my answer to go into later. So how many pages did Louise read on Sunday? I'm going to say Louise read blank pages on Sunday. All right, so now I'm set up to get my future answers. Okay, zoom in just looking for you guys. So now let's talk about who or what our problem is about. And it's about Louise and reading. And then Mr. Evans draws his nice tape line. Okay, now it's time to get my models in there. So now that I know we're talking about Louise's reading, go ahead and put Louise's reading. We know that Louise read on what day? Yes, Friday. She read on Friday. So up here, I'm going to label this one Friday. We know she read some pages on Saturday, right? Yep. So I'm going to draw a box there to represent Saturday. And then we know she read some on Sunday, because now what we're doing is we're meeting the expectation of that 3-day weekend that was mentioned here. And at the beginning, it said it was 345 pages during that 3-day weekend. So all these three boxes will total up to 345. Now, as I go back through the problem, I noticed here, if she read 120 pages on Friday, so I put 120 here. And I realized she read 115 on Saturday, so I put 115 there. My mystery is to figure out what went here. And I'm going to start this week by putting a variable there. That way you guys can kind of see how math transitions over time, that we're not always just putting a question mark there. Sometimes you can put a variable there to solve for x. And the equation here that we currently have is that 120 plus 115 plus x is the same as 345. Okay, so in solving for this, I know I want to make sure that I bring 120, 115 together so I can see how close am I getting to that 345. When I do that, I'm solving from left to right. I'm going to go 100 plus 100, that's 200. 20 plus 10, that's 30. And then 0 and 5 gives me 5. So I have a 235 plus x, which is the same as 345. Now I start to tell my students, this is where you're getting yourself closer to doing some upper level math, because we want to isolate this x by itself. And the only way we can get this x over here by itself is if we take away 235 from here. And then we also need to take away 235 from here. So that way the x is by itself. And when we do 235 over here, we're obviously just going to have 0, 0, 0. So which means x is essentially moving down here is just going to be by itself. But this gives us the opportunity now to do some subtraction to figure out what x equals. So we have 5 minus 5, which is going to give us 0, 4 minus 3, which is 1, and 3 minus 2, which is 1. And so we have 110. So therefore, x equals 110. That's what we were solving for. So we put 110 there. Now, if you're ever in the business of double checking, like many of you should, you just simply come over here and you take 120, 115, and 110, and you should see, do you get 345? 0 plus 5 plus 0, that gives us 5. 2 plus 1 plus 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. 345. So therefore, my x is satisfactory, and therefore Louise read 110 pages on Sunday. That was a quick one. I know you guys are probably wondering, like, man, is the math just going to get easier or is it going to get harder? Well, it's important that we kind of do a good mix and blend of different challenges every week. So make sure you tune in for next week's, and I look forward to joining you for another moment with Math Challenge with Mr. Evans. You have a wonderful time and see you next time.